You know that feeling of being trapped, forced to make a choice where every single option seems to lead to some consequence you just can't escape? Well, today, we're going to dive into the ancient philosophy of karma yoga from the Bhagavad Gita. And it's this, well, surprisingly practical guide for finding freedom, even when life forces you to act. So our story kicks off on a battlefield. The great warrior Arjuna is facing an impossible choice. He has to fight and kill his own family or just refuse to act. So he asks his guide, Krishna, this incredibly piercing question. And it's a question that really echoes through time, doesn't it? I mean, we all face versions of this, torn between what we think is right and what we feel we have to do. Arjuna's problem is our problem. Every single day, we have to act. We've got to make choices at work, in our relationships, just in our lives. And every choice creates a ripple, a chain of consequences. It can really feel like we're constantly setting these traps for ourselves, binding our future with the karma of things we've already done. So how in the world do we break free? Right. So the Gita starts by just acknowledging this fundamental dilemma head-on. It's not about finding some perfect action that has zero negative outcomes. The problem is action itself. Let's dig into why. And here is the bind. You can't just opt out. Life demands that you participate. I mean, even choosing to do nothing, that's an action, and it has its own consequences. This creates what feels like a totally inescapable cycle. You act, and you're bound. Or, well, there really is no or. Action is mandatory. This is the knot that karma yoga promises to untangle. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Gita talks about where our actions truly come from. And it's not always from our logical, planning mind. It's from something much deeper, a more primal force. The text describes this kind of primal engine. It's like the seat of our subconscious drives and all our creative energy. Think about the difference between the career path you carefully map out and that sudden, undeniable urge to create something, to connect with someone, to build, or even to destroy. That's the raw force of nature working right through you. What's so important to get here is that these primal urges, they're not some kind of moral failure. They're a feature, not a bug. They are the engine that compels us to act, to actually participate in life. The Gita tells us that nature itself, through these very impulses, makes sure that no one can ever stay truly actionless. So if action creates all these karmic knots, the simple answer seems to be just stop acting, right? A lot of spiritual paths suggest this: renunciation, withdrawal. But the Gita offers this radical counter-argument, and it reveals why that approach is actually a trap. You can stop your body, sure, but you can't stop that primal engine. You can sit perfectly still, but your mind can still be racing with desires, plans, resentments. The source text is crystal clear. Nature itself, from our very cells to our subconscious, is in constant motion. Trying to suppress action on the outside while all that desire is churning on the inside, well, that's a total dead end. And wow, this is a powerful gut punch. The Gita doesn't praise the person who just restrains their body. It calls them a hypocrite, someone who's just deluding themselves. Because the action is still happening inside. The desire, the attachment, it's all still creating karma. So forced inaction isn't freedom. It's just a different kind of prism. Okay, so if we can't stop acting and every action binds us, what is the solution? This is where karma yoga presents its absolutely elegant secret. It's not about what you do. It's all about how you do it. The path is to transform the very nature of your action from the inside out. You still do the thing that your nature compels you to do, but you completely change your inner orientation. You act without getting attached to the fruits of the action. You do the work, but you offer it up, letting go of any claim on the praise, the reward, or even the success of it all. Now, when we hear the word sacrifice, we might think of, setting something on fire. But that's not what this means. In this context, it's about doing something free from the ego's greedy, grasping hands. When you act just because it's the right thing to do, not for what you'll get out of it, you actually cut that karmic thread. The action happens, but it doesn't stick to you. This quote just nails the principle in action. Life is this huge, cosmic cycle of giving and receiving. To only take, to only act for your own personal gain is to basically steal from the system. Selfless action, or sacrifice, is how we participate harmoniously. It's how we give back, keeping the whole system flowing. And in doing that, we become free. All right, this brings us to the most profound and, honestly, liberating secret of karma yoga. It's a shift in perspective so total that it changes everything. And it explains why Krishna ultimately tells Arjuna he must fight. Remember that primal engine we talked about? The Gita actually breaks it down into 3 fundamental forces, or gunas, that are woven into the very fabric of nature. These energies, think of them like inertia, activity, and harmony, are what propel all action in the universe, from a planet spinning to you feeling an urge to get a snack. And here it is. This is the core illusion that pretty much all of us live under. We see an action come from us, and our ego immediately swoops in to claim it. I did that. I am the one who's angry. I am the one who's so successful. But the Gita says this is a complete delusion. And this is the secret to real freedom. You are not the ultimate source of the action. You are the channel through which the forces of nature, the gunas, are acting. A wise person understands this. They see an impulse to act arise, and they don't see it as my desire, but as nature's energy moving through me. This realization, this is the key. And this brings us right back to Arjuna. He's a warrior. His very nature compels him to fight. To refuse would be the act of a hypocrite. The solution is to fight, but to do it with this brand new understanding, that it's nature acting through him, and to offer that action without any attachment to whether he wins or loses. So Krishna finally reveals the real enemy, and it isn't Arjuna's family on the other side of the battlefield. The great enemy is internal. It's that selfish desire for a specific outcome. It's the anger at the situation, and it's the ego that screams, I am the doer. These are the forces that cloud our wisdom and bind us in those chains of karma. So this ancient text leaves us with a really modern challenge. It's an invitation to look at our own struggles, our own battles, and to ask, am I fighting the right war? Karma yoga suggests that freedom isn't found by changing our actions, but by understanding who or what is truly acting.